Welcome to another episode of the Influential Experts Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Hicks, and today we'll be speaking with personal injury attorney Jennifer O'Connell, discussing the importance of working with an attorney after a car wreck. Jennifer O'Connell is the dynamic managing partner of Cleaner Law Offices, with offices in Colorado, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And she's a seasoned personal injury lawyer, boasting a winning reputation that includes record-breaking verdicts. One major win includes earning the title of Law Week's Barrister's Best Civil Litigator in Colorado in 2020. Jennifer's expertise spans diverse cases, from commercial trucking litigation to negotiations with major insurance companies. Whether in the legal arena or embracing her love for adventure and service, such as training service dogs for veterans with PTSD, Jennifer O'Connell is a force to be reckoned with, making waves in the legal landscape and beyond. Jennifer, thank you so much for agreeing to come on our show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to talk about how we can help more people.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive in. Why might someone choose to hire a car wreck attorney after an accident?
Yeah, so it's really simple. We do all the work and you get more money. The studies show that injured people with experienced lawyers get an average of 3 times higher settlements than folks that try to do it alone. So we do this every day. We're experts. We know your case. We know what it's worth. We have the market data that gives us the values of the cases. And we know what the insurance company is going to try to do or try to get away with, and how they're going to devalue your case or pay less. Our office in particular stays up to date on the tricks of the trade for the insurance companies so that we're ready to catch them. We like to stay on the offense rather than the defense. And we try cases. Having a winning record is really important, and having record jury verdicts is important because it means that we're going to get better offers right out the gate. So the big takeaway is that the insurance company has to know that you're willing to take the case to trial and you will treat it like it's the best case you've ever had, because they have to be scared. They have to see the risk to put real money on the table.
Yeah. Those are some great insights. Following a car wreck, what immediate steps can individuals take to strengthen their case and enhance the likelihood of a successful outcome with legal representation?
Sure. So the biggest and first, most important thing that you need to do is get treatment. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about what you're going to have to do with the insurance company, how you're going to pay those medical bills, because that's our job. That's why we're here. So first, just take care of yourself, get treatment. Keep in mind that the smallest gap between the incident and your first time you go to get treatment, whether it's an ER or your primary care or a specialist, even a little teeny gap between those two can create a severe devaluation in your case. You really have to get on it and take care of yourself. And it's important just for your body that you do that quickly. So let us do the heavy lifting and worry about how the treatment's going to get paid and pushing the insurance company, and you just worry about getting better. The other important thing to remember is don't talk to the insurance company until you've talked to a lawyer. The very first thing the insurance company does is press record on their phone system. They want to get you recording, saying anything that they can to twist and save them money. It's best to let us, with the experience and expertise, handle the communications between you and the insurance company so we can have that intention and careful consideration behind all of those communications. We don't want you to accidentally hand them something that they're going to use for the rest of your case as an excuse not to pay what they owe.
Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people realize that, these insurance adjusters are highly trained personnel for the insurance companies. And they're trained to be able to, how would you describe it? Manipulate you or be able to kind of walk you into perhaps incriminating yourself or saying something that could potentially incriminate yourself that's not potentially true?
Oh, absolutely. I have deposed insurance adjusters in bad faith cases, and they are highly trained and specialized in how to get information out of you, the injured person, get you to say things that they can twist and turn. For instance, it's as simple as them calling you and saying, "How you doing today?" And then the normal person, regardless if you're in a hospital bed, will say, "I'm fine," and then continue with the conversation just to get things going. But then they've got you recorded saying you're fine days after your severe injury from a commercial trucking wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've got that on paper in transcript of your own words, and that's going to be blown up the size of a wall in the courtroom, you saying you're fine.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's some of the tactics that they use. What specific legal task does a car wreck attorney undertake during a case?
There's so much, and this is why it's important to have an attorney and not try to do it yourself. We take over all of the communication with the insurance company from the get-go. We hold them at arm's length, make sure that they only get the information that they need at the time, basically treat them on a need-to-know basis. We communicate with your medical providers, the defendant, the court. We get all of your medical records, past and present, so that we can prove that your injuries are related to the incident and not from some past or pre-existing condition. We'll communicate with the billing offices to keep you out of collections while the case is pending. That's something people really worry about, and I understand that. You don't want a medical bill going to collections while you're dealing with getting better. We also engage in boots on the ground investigation. I've ruined so many pairs of shoes and suits crawling under trucks or over fences to try to get to the evidence, the vehicle parts, things that are very important and can disappear later on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do witness interviews, hire private investigators to collect more evidence, or do deeper witness interviews. We'll engage in vehicle inspections. Don't just send an engineer. You want to get out there and watch your engineer and see what they're doing. Have them point to you the parts of the vehicle and show you what happened as they reconstruct it. You also want to be there when the insurance company's engineer is there. Watch what they're doing. See what they miss. Then we go on to hire experts, and we pay for them up front. That's not on the client's dime. We pay for the engineers, the medical experts, and I'll talk later about how we get that collected, but that can cost tens of thousands of dollars right out the gate. But it's vital that we bring some of these experts on board to make sure that your case is in the best hands. Most importantly, we stay on top of the industry. We know what's coming before it gets there, things that you haven't heard about yet, tricks of the trade that the adjusters are being trained on. They go to annual conventions just like we do, and we need to have a game plan ready. It's also the final step. I think the thing that's most important is that when you have an experienced attorney, we treat your case like it's unique. It's not cookie cutter. We're not treating all the cases the same. And if you've gone through all of these steps that I've talked about, you can point out to the adjuster why this case is different than the pile of files on their desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys do, it's a lot of work, obviously, but it's necessary and it's essential for you to be able to get the results that you're able to attain for your clients. So
absolutely,
that's a lot of value. How do you ensure effective communication with the client throughout the legal process? And what role does the client play in building a strong case?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked this question. It's very, very important for our office, especially when we constructed our office, all three of the locations of our office, it was with client communication in mind. We have a client portal, so the clients can send us messages from their phones, from their computers. They can text us pictures. They can upload documents. If they get a letter from a hospital, an insurance company saying something that they don't understand, they can just send it on over to us through the portal. It comes right into their case. It pops up on my system, and I see it immediately. And that gives me the opportunity to stay abreast of what's happening in my client's life, and get back to them quickly with their concerns. Client communication is vital, not just to us having a good relationship, but to the value of the case. That's why these assembly line type firms and that service doesn't work. They're sort of flash in the pan. The stats show that you get lower outcomes when you're treating your clients like an assembly line versus if you treat them like humans. And that's because the client knows their body. You know your body. You know when it's right and when it's wrong. You know when something's going on that's not right. And you know what's happened in the incident, what's happening in your life better than anybody else. And me as your attorney, I need to be able to express that to the insurance company. And the more of that I bring to the table, the more the insurance company knows, I know your case in and out, and we're going to push hard. We're going to work hard on it. And again, we're not going to treat it just like it's one of those stacks of files. We have to know just as well as you do what sets you apart from the other folks in line in that adjuster's docket. And if you leave that on the cutting room floor, if you fail to speak with your clients, speak with them often, and treat them as an individual, you're leaving money on the table.
Hmm. Yeah. How do attorneys help their clients navigate dealings with insurance companies and car wreck cases?
Yeah, so we do it all for you. That's the most important part is you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to deal with them. We handle it for you. And the communication between the insurance company and you should stop almost immediately after you hire us. So you're not getting those constant calls. We also filter the information through our legal filters. They're not able to call you and get you to say, hey, I'm doing fine today. They're not able to get words out of you that they can twist and work in their favor. We keep them at an arm's length and treat them on a need to know basis. There are certain bits of information about you that they would ask you if they were speaking to you directly that they don't even bother asking your attorney because they know that they do not have a legal right to it.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if you have health insurance or if you've gotten a discount on your medical bill, none of that's their business. Your past medical history is not their business, but they're going to ask you those questions and they won't get it from us. We have to head their tricks off at the pass, and we do all of that without you even knowing that it's going on unless you want to know all the dirty details. And then we collect all your data. There's no reason why you should have to go to all of your medical providers' offices and their separate billing offices to get the information to give to the insurance company. There's no reason that you should have to go and interview witnesses, collect all the evidence. These are things that cost a lot of time and money, and we do that for you. This is not what you want to be doing or worrying about when you're trying to heal, manage work, manage family, all the while you're just feeling terrible and you're in immense amounts of pain.
Yeah. How do you handle cases with severe injuries? And how do you ensure that maximum compensation is received for medical expenses and long-term impacts?
Yeah, we handle a lot of catastrophic injuries here. We handle a lot of traumatic brain injuries, and unfortunately, we handle wrongful death cases. And those are very unique to the individual and to the family. We really have a system of holding your hand through that process. You're not a name on the screen. You're on a first name basis with us. We're engaging in pretty consistent communication as much as you're able and willing to.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that we need to do in those catastrophic cases is find the policies. Insurance companies will very quickly and easily send you the small policy that costs them very little money. We need to dive in and find the bigger policies that will bring you more compensation because we're not worried about costing the insurance company money. We talk one-on-one with your doctors, with your family members, with the people that you interact with through your life so that we can get unbiased opinions to present to the insurance company about how this has affected you. We will talk to your doctors about permanent injury and use the data that's compiled in the industry for years and years to be able to put a number to the intangibles, to quantify the impact that the incident has had on your life or the loss. We've done things like go to clients' homes and video them trying to get around. What's coming to mind for me is a client who had a severe broken leg from a cycling injury and was on crutches, and he couldn't get upstairs to his bedroom. He couldn't get down his narrow hallway to his bathroom. And these are things that we're catching on video because it's very important to show and put a face to the loss. And we have personally witnessed clients having to maneuver around their homes in wheelchairs and not being able to even get in and out of their home. We spend time with the families who have lost their father, their friend, their brother, their sister. All of that brings us more to the table and sets us as your representatives and your case apart from everybody else. And it shows that we're going to go the extra mile if the insurance company doesn't pay you what they owe.
Yeah. Does, the attorney's location impact representation effectiveness at all?
So yes and no. It depends on reputation. Reputation really matters. So attorneys can technically cover the entire state where they're licensed. And in this modern age, there's no more of that home cooking, walking into, a rural courthouse and just getting smoked because everybody knows everybody. Everything is filed electronically, and judges are smart. They know your reputation when you walk in the door. With us, they know that we have a reputation for working hard. They know that we have a reputation for respect and professionalism. So that really matters with the judges who are the deciders. The same works for other lawyers. Other lawyers need to know your reputation. They need to know what your level of respect and professionalism is, but they also need to know your level of attention and hard work, the elbow grease that you're bringing to your cases. If you're a big box assembly line firm, you're not trying your cases, you don't have the connection to your clients like firms who are client-centric like us do, and the opposing counsel knows that, as do the insurance companies. So what really matters more than where the location of the case is the reputation that you have. We've got a statewide reputation in all 3 states where our offices are. We teach other lawyers nationally, and we have record verdicts on both sides of the Mississippi. We've gotten those results. So that's what we're bringing to the table and why we feel confident in practicing in any of those 3 states.
Not all attorneys are the same. You have people that focus on personal injury law, personal injury law. You have people that focus on criminal law, et cetera, et cetera. What's the difference between an injury attorney and a truck wreck attorney?
Sure, that is a misnomer. Everyone thinks that, well, this is an injury attorney and I got injured in a truck wreck, so we're good to go. Trucking law and truck wreck law is entirely different. We practice injury law and truck wreck law. And the difference is as drastic as hiring a pediatrician to do your brain surgery. Both are very good at what they do, but they're 2 different expertise. And truck work takes far more expertise and a willingness to crawl under those trucks, get dirty, get into those junkyards. And it's a level of knowledge and specialization that you don't need for just general injury law. You really have to know the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's regulations like the back of your hand. You have to know the data on the trucking company and know where to look for that. You can access things like their past infractions, their failures to maintain the vehicles, their failures to train their drivers, failed inspection history, but you have to know where to look for it and how to get it. The specific knowledge and ins and outs of mechanics is actually also a skill that attorneys need to know. I need to be able to go with my expert and look at brakes when insurance companies or a trucking company says, well, my brakes failed and that's it, and know what those brakes should look like versus how they look. As an attorney, I have to know the level of mechanics to know this guy's saying his brakes failed, but his horn didn't work either. And those 2 things have something in common. If I'm just a personal injury attorney, I'm not going to know that the horn not working and the brake system not working can actually be a part of the same problem. You need an attorney who knows the difference between brakes failing and a load shift in the trailer in the back that makes it impossible to stop at those speeds. So, like I was saying, truck wrecks are not just about running red lights or cutting people off on the highway. They are systematic failures at the highest level of these corporations, and it takes a truck wreck attorney to know how to handle these cases.
And I don't think people realize, too, that, these trucks are multiple times heavier than a standard vehicle. And, they're moving down the interstate at 70, 80 miles per hour. And they're very dangerous. I mean, they can cause a lot more damage than a car. And because they're so big and they're so dangerous, they have to be held at a different standard than, general, I want to say aviation, but that's not aviation, general transportation. General transportation.
Transportation, yes. So, it is a difference between consumer transportation and corporate transportation or commercial transportation. We have our rules of the road, but in order for the federal regulations, the separate rules of the road to apply to a truck, it has to be over a certain weight limit. And so when you see what these weight limits are, and there's a federal limit, but then the different states adopt that. And again, this is all information that you have to know to be a truck wreck lawyer. These things are tens and tens of thousands of pounds speeding down the highway. Even if they're doing the speed limit, they're going at 70 miles an hour or 75, depending on what the limit is on the road. And they have to have, before they even put the key in the ignition, followed an entire book worth of regulations that we never have to think about when we get in our cars. And each one of those regulations either sets them up to get to their destination safely or sets them up to injure you along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Reflecting on our conversation today and the amount of work that your law firm does to be able to get the type of result that you get for your clients. I mean, it's a huge time investment, and there's a lot of expertise that goes behind it. And I can see it becoming very, very expensive. And I think that's a concern that a lot of people have. It's like, how much is this going to cost me? Is this going to, am I going to go bankrupt trying to sue my insurance company? But Cleaner Law does everything on a contingency fee. Could you explain what a contingency fee is, how it operates in car wreck cases, and what financial considerations clients should consider or be aware of when hiring an attorney?
Absolutely. So you're exactly right. Cases can cost 6 figures if you go into litigation, and very often do. And the rules of ethics in a lot of states require us to work on a contingency fee basis because that makes us free to you. And it makes us not get paid a penny for our work unless and until we get you paid, which is really important. It puts you, the injured person, first. What I think the misnomer is that people think, well, on a contingency fee, you take my settlement and you give me what's left over. And that's a myth that's actually perpetuated by the insurance company to save themselves money, because they know that if you hire an attorney, it's going to cost them more. They don't want you to hire an attorney. They want you to think that we're going to take your whole settlement and leave you with nothing. We make the insurance company pay our costs and our fees and pay you. That's how a contingency fee works, and that's how Cleaner Law works. It's a part of the entire settlement negotiation process. At least at our firm it is. And we're fully transparent. Before we accept an offer on your behalf, you see the full breakdown of how much goes to your doctors, how much goes to us, and most importantly, how much goes to you. Because this is a serious business. We're talking large sums of money, and money that's owed to you, not to your doctors, not to an insurance company, not to an attorney. So the major takeaway is that we make them pay for what they caused, all of it. That includes the cost of hiring an attorney.
Yeah. Most people, and I like what you just said, because like you in your demand package, right, what you're asking for, you add on your price in there and have them pay it. So it's really, it's like you're paying for yourself essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think people realize, I mean, look, like anything else, an insurance company is a business. Their goal is to make money. The way that they make money is by paying out as little, they want you to pay your premiums every month, but they want to pay you as little as possible when it comes to, giving you your settlement, right?
We always say our job is to collect premiums, not to write checks.
Yes, exactly. And, if someone is going to offer, and I can see how they would use, because I know a lot of attorneys will charge a third or sometimes as high as 40% now as their contingency fee. But if they're going to offer you $2,500, or $5,000 for a settlement, that's not going to take care of your medical bills. It's not going to take care of your injuries. They just want to get you, they want you to settle quick. That way, any additional obligations just gone. If they can get you to settle right away for less, even if the attorney takes a third or even 40%, if an attorney is able to get you $50,000, right?
Yeah.
Even with their 30%, that's substantially more than what they would give you at 100%. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's why I say that the stats show that you get 3 times more when you hire an attorney for your overall settlement. I would argue that it's higher. We keep up with the market values of these cases. Again, we know what juries are giving for these cases. We know what insurance companies are giving for these cases to people who have attorneys, who don't have attorneys. I've got spreadsheets for days on this stuff. But all of that is important because we know that's the basement dollar. That's the bottom dollar amount that we're going to push the insurance company for. But if I've only gotten you the market value of your case, I've failed. I've got to push further than that market value because you and your individual case and the work that you've put in to get better and to heal from what happened to you is worth so much more than the market value. But you don't have that at your disposal, and the insurance company is not going to hand it to you. Their job, like you said, is to offer you $500 here, $2,500 there, and be done and close the claim.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people make the mistake of just accepting what the insurance company offers them. I've made that mistake. I got into just a little fender bender. I mean, I was okay. And they assumed responsibility. They said they're going to pay me. I'm like, I don't need an attorney. And, I think they gave me like $3,500 for my car to get repaired. And, of course, they suggested I go and use one of the car repair shops within their network. I go there, they make the repairs. I've already collected my money. And 3 or 4 months later, I keep having issues with the car that is a result of the accident, right? It's things that the car repair shop was unable to diagnose and repair, but it's a direct response of that car accident. And of course, I can't go back and collect money,
right.
And so, I just wish I would have known better. And I think that stat that you gave, that on average, an attorney is going to get you 3 times more than what, the insurance is going to give you without an attorney. I think that's a pretty significant amount. I think that's something that is very compelling and is something that is worth considering whenever you're in an accident.
Sure. Here's why. You talked about your vehicle and that, it got fixed, but it still had problems related to the collision. Imagine that that's your body.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that you go to the ER, you still got some pain. They tell you, you're fine. You go to your primary care and they say, give it 2 weeks and go to a few PT visits. And you do all that. And then you accept the offer from the insurance company. And then months later, you're still hurting. You're having to go home from work early or take longer breaks. You can't play with your kids. And lo and behold, you have a herniated disc or a bulging disc or a compression in your spine. All of these are major injuries that can become permanent if not treated and if not treated by specialists, but it's too late now. Now you're going to incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, and there's going to be no one there to pay for it. Now you might have to have a surgery, and nobody's going to compensate you for that. Nobody's going to pay you for your time off work because you already settled with the insurance company, not knowing what your rights were. We are very careful to make sure that our clients don't settle too early. They make sure that they get all of the medical care they need before we even give the first medical record to the insurance company, because we want them to have the full picture of what they owe our client before they even talk the first dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Jennifer, thank you so much for agreeing to come on today's episode of Influential Experts and sharing such incredible insights on car wreck attorneys. It's very valuable for our listeners. And for our listeners, we hope you found this discussion informative and insightful. If you did, please let us know by liking, commenting, and sharing this episode with others. And if you live in Colorado, Kentucky, or Tennessee, you've been injured in a car accident, and you need representation, visit www.queenerlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with a personal injury attorney today. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.